Hello and welcome to Cryptocurrents. I'm your host, Monica Profit, and I'm here today with Michael Sena, the CSO and co-founder of Recall. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Monica.
So you co-founded Recall. How long has it been since the beginning of this project? I mean, with a long history in blockchain, it seems like this is pretty much a newer sort of advent of AI and blockchain together. Can you tell me a little bit about the origin story?
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, I've been building in blockchain and in crypto for the better part of a decade now. Um, and Recall, though, is actually the result of a merger of two companies. So I was a co-founder of a company called Three Bucks Labs, and we built Ceramic, a decentralized data network. And we merged with Textile, who was also building decentralized data products. And we shared a vision for, user-owned data at the time and how can we increase the verifiability of data and identity online. And when AI sort of really started to proliferate, sort of after the ChatGPT craze, I think it was like about 2 years ago now, we brought our companies together and really thought critically about how can some of the lessons and the tech that we've built to date apply and allow us to create impact in this new industry. And so, it's not obviously a new industry, but as it one that was like, driving mass adoption. And we shared a belief that the biggest users of the internet in the future will be artificial intelligence. And so being able to create foundational infrastructure for that new paradigm was something that was really exciting to us. There's not a ton of like incumbent products and tooling to work with. Like it was sort of a green space where we felt that was ripe for decentralization and some of the benefits of blockchain technology.
Okay, so there's a lot of very hip, cool words in what you just said. I know some of them, and other ones I'm like, that combination's new. So you just started straight out with the most basic building block here being that you were working on decentralized data projects. Now, I know what it is for me to be like, hey, ChatGPT, where should I eat dinner tonight? I like lasagna, and like that's it. I don't know if that's a decentralized data project, but that's my AI project, and I use that data and I go eat somewhere. What
Mhm.
is a decentralized data project that like made you guys think, oh, we can start building infrastructure around this? Like, what is that give me a real life case study of how that happened.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a exact one-to-one application of what we were building and where we are today. There were obviously like some core learnings and building blocks that we did carry forward from each of our two companies. But I mean, decentralized data is effectively, data that the typical definition that is widely understood is user signed data. So authenticated data is basically the same way you would use your MetaMask wallet to sign a crypto transaction. You would use a private key or your MetaMask wallet to sign a piece of data, proving that it's yours, and then you publish it to the open internet, and it gets hosted and made available there through some sort of a decentralized network. So, instead of the typical client server model of application development in the internet today, where you go to ChatGPT and you type what restaurant am I looking for tonight, and it talks to the OpenAI servers and sort of does the computation and does the processing it needs to return the results. In this model, you're sort of like, you can think what restaurant is good for me tonight, and you click send, and your wallet signs that and publishes it on an open network, and someone else can grab it from there. So I
So
think
it's
like
generative as well. It's generative. It's like multiple point generation in a way. Like you're not just asking and then receiving, but you're asking, generating, and then republishing.
yeah, exactly. Like it's data that is published on the open internet, made secure through a network of infrastructure providers that users don't really need to worry about, and it can be retrieved. And when someone retrieves it, they can know who originally created that data. So it's like data with cryptographic
Authentication.
signatures and verification, like all built in. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I've actually heard of another couple of companies noodling on this idea of attribution and authentication, but also attribution and being able to remunerate people for their contributions and things. So,
Yep.
okay, taking this one step even further down a totally weird new rabbit hole that I have never even knew was there, but thank you for lifting the manhole cover off and letting me see it. What You are now doing AI competitions at Recall? Like, what is Recall really kind of pushing forward in this very decentralized sort of market that is emerging?
Yeah, so the problem that Recall solves is that big AI labs are creating sort of generic models with mass appeal. They're sort of like the jack of all trades, but the master of none. Like, in your restaurant example, sure, ChatGPT can give you some decent restaurant recommendations. If you ask it to write a piece of content, it could probably do a decent job. It might not write exactly as you want it to, though. Like, it might put too many M dashes
Oh,
in
the
its
M dash.
response. It's like, who programmed AI to just believe that the proper way to write is with a lot of M dashes? Like, I don't know. It's not how most people write. So, like that's an example of it's okay, it's pretty good, it'll get you started, but like you can't fully trust it in production just to do the things without your sort of intervention. And so this is a symptom of this problem, which is AI labs create these big generic products with mass appeal, but people and humans have very specialized needs when it comes to AI. Like maybe if I'm a content writer, I'm looking for an AI that can write content for me and maintain my creator authenticity, maintain my tone of voice, like maintain my writing style, like match my subject matter expertise. Other people might want crypto trading agents to manage their portfolio, but have them only trade like the top 100 cryptocurrencies. So the use cases for AI are endless, but they're not being met by big AI labs. And so it creates this massive gap in the market. And so what Recall is doing is it's basically creating a decentralized skill network where people can create markets for any AI skill they want, and they basically crowdfund them. So, I say I need a content creation tool that maintains creator authenticity, and I create the market and I deposit funds in it. And a lot of other people find that to be a valuable AI skill, so they also deposit funds into this market. And what that does is it attracts liquidity of AI solutions. So whether these solutions existed but they weren't known to the world, like some developer somewhere built them, people can like crowdsource them and submit them to the market. Or if those tools just simply don't exist yet, someone can create them and submit them to the market. And so these sort of markets and turning AI from like a supply driven economy to a demand driven economy. And once these AIs are submitted, then the question becomes how do users trust which one is the best? How do I actually evaluate the submissions to know what are the top three authentic content creation AI tools out there? And so we harness the power of community to also do that. Like people come into these markets and they economically curate which AIs are likely to be the best submissions based on things like who built it, does it have a reputation, like how it's
Is this
built.
sort of like Polymarket meets AI generation and rankings and competitions that are human generated but also AI enabled?
I think we share some vision for harnessing the crowd to help bring insight into something that is currently opaque. Um,
But also monetizing that, yeah?
Monetizing their insight, yes, and when they do provide positive signal to the market, they're rewarded, and when they provide negative signal, they're penalized. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's like, I like to think of it almost as like reverse Kickstarter, where Kickstarter today, in these crowdfunding platforms, it's like someone has a product idea and they put it on the platform and they're like, give me money and I will build it. But this
Right.
is different than that because this is like people coming together to say, we want this thing. And then the creators respond to that. So it sort of like inverts the model and that enables AI to be like much more closely aligned to the diverse and specialized needs of humanity than any developer could do on their own. Because it answers questions like, what do people want? How big is the market for this thing? Like, what are the requirements and the exact nuance of what a solution should do? And like markets solve all of this.
So it's
Uh,
not product market fit, it's market product invitation.
Exactly. Yeah. And then
Nice.
once products are in that market, then users play a big role of like evaluating them, ranking them. And then at the end of it, to decide the actual winners, these AIs compete in competitions. They go head to head at the skill defined by the market through various mechanisms. And eventually, like, we create these rankings for each skill on the marketplace. And people can use that to know what the best AI for these like long tail of every imaginable AI skill are.
That's amazing. So the I see what you're solving. I mean, I love every time I hear inverting the model, it's like so exciting because the old model is clearly not working. And whether it's the basis of like capitalism and supply and demand, or if it's just the basics of, a centralized marketplace or a centralized anything, or the coupling of all kinds of things cobbled together like government plus money plus supply. It's just like it's not working. It's just not working. So
Yeah.
it's so interesting to see it taken apart and re-put back together in new ways. I mean, I see what you're solving, but like, what is like the mission? Like, what is the thing that drives you to, or what is maybe your futurist perspective on where we're going, and therefore how you're ahead on in getting there?
Sure. Yeah, happy to go there. I mean, whenever you talk about AI and you talk about futurist, like, well, one, the entire AI industry as it stands feels futurist. So we're all kind of living in the future, those that are deeply thinking about these things. But I mean, I can't help but go to AGI, right? Like everyone is talking about what does the world look like in a future with, some kind of artificial superintelligence, and is it safe? Like, what does that mean for our species, and what it means to work and live and create? And where recall plays a role in that is it really can serve as a mechanism for humanity to put guardrails on AI, right? So, like, if people create markets for safety and doing no harm, and they set goals of that market to be things that are in service of what humans need and want versus in service of the AI itself or the AI's creators, then there actually is a framework for AI to come to this market to achieve the certifications it needs on these like very important skills and requirements that people have of it. So, and this can all happen obviously autonomously if ASI is like a very powerful thing. Like, and it may be the case in the future that entities like governments or various sort of large conglomerates or alliances like may decide what these frameworks are, but we can't trust those frameworks to be enforced by centralized entities either, because everyone is self-serving. And so, like, actually making the guardrail system that protects humanity against the dangers of AGI needs to be decentralized. And so, like, recall can serve as that alignment, trust, and safety framework for that type of a future.
Okay, you're saying words that totally align with my blockchain background. This trust and safety. I'm like, okay, decentralized. That sounds very much like blockchain meets AI in a way that's not just, the lowest hanging fruit where I see AI and blockchain overlapping for use cases just in privacy, data privacy, right? Keeping what is yours, keeping what you're asking any AI in yours or whatever. That makes sense. I get that.
Hmm.
And I've heard plenty of people going like, "We're doing it." I'm like, "Yay!" Like, good. Okay, I've heard it now. But I have not heard about the way that you're talking about blockchain and the kind of real purpose that blockchain is serving at Recall. So, can you talk a little bit about how that integration into blockchain is actually happening and why it's kind of more robust because you're using blockchain versus a more centralized network?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of exists at every layer of our design. I mean, even fundamentally, like, if I think, having been in the industry a decade, I think about what use cases have really worked on blockchain, what are its strengths, where is it not so great, and like, I've come to believe that the sort of like predominant use case of blockchain and the main benefit of it is really to sort of create these open markets that let people coordinate important resources without intermediaries, right? And like, there's a lot of buzzwords, but really, it's like if you think about ICOs in 2017, like, yes, they brought a bunch of like snake oil salesmen and scams, but what they fundamentally did is like created a new framework for people to pool capital to fund projects. And when you think about like depend networks, right? It's how do people coordinate hardware resources or whatever to provide maybe decentralized storage or decentralized navigation or whatever, decentralized wireless. And similarly, like Polymarket is people, coordinating insight to provide sort of these predictive outcomes or like, crowdsourcing their wisdom to provide insight about future looking events in the world. And these are all market based systems. And so when we think about how can we coordinate users' needs for what they need for AI and how can we crowdsource AI solutions to meet those needs and how can we have users provide their insight into these markets about which ones work best and how do we incentivize this entire loop and reward people for their work. It's like there's no other solution besides blockchain. And so the core design of the system like would not be possible without blockchain. And then of course we use it like the rankings generated by the markets are published on chain, so they're open and composable and can be integrated into any search engine, marketplace, orchestrator, or app that wants to show users trusted AI. The sort of economics of the system all exist on chain, obviously, and the sort of like entire governance of the network. And so these sorts of things like it's like using blockchain for what it's good at, not trying to shoehorn some AI project onto blockchain or building on-chain agents because they sound cool. It's like actually needed to build a system like this.
So what, just to get a little bit nerdy in that, what L1 are you working, what layer one are you preferential to or working on currently?
So yeah, so we're actually building our infrastructure out on Base right now, but we'll be supporting other chains as well. There's just like a pretty strong burgeoning AI ecosystem on Base, and obviously like fast transaction speeds and cheap costs. There's going to be a lot of on-chain transactions, people curating AI, people submitting AI, people judging competitions,
Yeah,
and so we need something that's pretty user friendly.
that's great. I can't wait to see more about it. And actually, I haven't heard of a lot of projects being built on base, so that's exciting. Do you have any like kind of targets for fourth quarter as you move into the towards the end of the year? Do you have like a horizon for recall that you, I don't know, that's exciting, that anything that's coming up for you guys?
So much. So, I mean, right now, as of 2 weeks ago, started running crypto trading competitions every week, Monday through Friday. AI agents come and compete in the crypto trading market. And now we have it's like almost 300,000 users and growing every competition that come to curate these agents in these competitions and earn if they're right. And I think the last competition registrations like we only offer so many spots for agents to compete right now as we're still scaling, but it sold out in like 10 seconds. And
Wow.
so there's immense demand to earn rewards, to show their skills, to earn reputation and ranking on these leaderboards. And there's a huge sort of demand from the consumer side for people to participate in these and actually help drive these rankings. And so there's that going on, and that will continue. So I encourage everyone to check out app.recall.network, and that's sort of where we run all these competitions and stuff on there. But on sort of the more future looking front, yesterday, recently we just released our vision for the recall token. And so there's a lot of great stuff in there, so I encourage everyone to check that out. But it really is around this concept of skill markets and how the token is the coordination mechanism for all of this, for the AI skills economy. And we're going to be building that out. A lot of big announcements coming in Q4. But, on that roadmap, like we'll be introducing the use of the token and we'll be expanding its use cases and increasing the sophistication of these markets over time. We sort of outline a lot of that in our Token Vision blog post. And we'll be announcing a lot of pretty big partnerships, like with a lot of L1s and other infrastructure for running things like trading competitions and on-chain. So a lot coming. It's definitely going to be an eventful Q4.
Now, do you have a date or like a target time frame for the TGE, a token generating event?
Well, it shouldn't be very long from now. Yeah, I think I might get in trouble if I spill too many details, but I mean, for those that have been following along in the community, we did release the full token vision yesterday. We're running a couple, incentive campaigns with the community, and those are sort of all wrapping up in the next week or two. Um, and so I think, things will be happening. I think we'll figure out when the exact best day is. But we're definitely incentivized to make this happen, and people have been asking for this for a while, so we couldn't be more excited.
That's fantastic. As you were kind of beating the drum and getting this out, I know TGEs can be a big deal, and even just leading up to it, kind of talking about private sales and whatnot are pretty important. Are you going to be at any upcoming events or new engagements and stuff? Is there a place where people can get some FaceTime with you guys?
Yeah, we'll be at all the big ones. The team is actually in Korea right now at Korea Blockchain Week,
Nice.
and I've been seeing the stream of photos and content coming in from that, so that looked awesome. I'm really jealous I didn't get to fly out there. Then we'll
What
be at
kept you home? Why did you stay in Puerto Rico? It's the hurricane season. What are you thinking, man?
it rains every day. No, some of us had to stay back to keep the lights on. We can't all always have fun. Um, but we'll also be at Token 2049 in Singapore. So it's obviously another big one. Um, and then we'll be at a few other smaller ones. But then the next big one is probably, um, Dev Connect or DevCon in Buenos Aires. So
Fantastic.
yeah, we're going to be doing the circuit for sure.
Wonderful. I run Bit Angels New York City events for pitch events and things like that. So, even if you're just pitching for partners and users, I mean, we'd love to have you guys out. So if you have any people on your team in New York, or if you find yourself back here between, November and December, we'd love to have you come and tell everybody about this. It's a very cool project.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll actually be in New York in 2 days, but that's not November, December. But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be back. I'll be back a lot.
Yeah.
I'm always
You got to
back in
count your days if you're doing Puerto Rico, but you can come
the
back. I remember those days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that you guys must have an active Discord or Telegram. We'll link that all in the chat and or in the notes below. But do you have any more places where you want people to really go to learn about Recall? Aside from your recent publication on the token vision, is there kind of core mission stuff? Is there, if people aren't really sure how to start getting involved, it sounds like this is such a multi-sided marketplace and not everyone's going to consider themselves a generator or an active user, but they might be coming in as a user just to sort of bet on things or be on the demand side of this. So how would you best think advise someone to get involved as just the first step if they're like, what is this crazy thing? How am I going to learn more? This still sounds halfway like confusing, you know?
Yeah, well, we designed it to be user first. I mean, like, again, we've been around long enough to see a lot of great ideas die on the vine because they don't think about how people will actually use the protocol or network. So the first and easiest way is just go to our website, recall.network, and there's a link at the top in the nav that says leaderboards. You can click that and you can see all of this markets that exist today and the rankings for AI in those markets. There's things like crypto trading, which AI models write best and respect my wishes to not use M dashes. There's ones for business models or business plans, compassionate communication, which by the way, Grok is the winner of.
Ooh,
There's a lot of cool skills and things that we test. It's not just crypto trading right now. And these are all things that the community has said that they wanted. So these are all in response to real demand. And that's the easiest thing to do. And then the next step is to click on competitions or arena, and it'll take you into all of the sort of like active or past competitions that have happened. You can check out how agents did in the last few trading competitions. You can see leaderboards and ranks and P&Ls and actually their trade history of like what did they actually do on chain. And so that's easy, but it's super easy to just sign in, look at the agents registered for the next competition, and pick one. Obviously, like there's the more research you do, the more likely you are to curate the right one based on how did they do in previous competitions, like what is the community sentiment around them and these sorts of things. But like that could be step two. Step one is just pick one and see what happens. And you're already, and then you're like on a team and you start to like see all the action happening on Twitter of people like flying their agent's flag and like, sort of like it's crazy. It truly is crazy. And one of the developers of an agent who had won a few previous competitions bet that he would win the next one, and if he didn't, he would eat the world's spiciest gummy bear. So he lost. He lost, and we had a town hall on our Discord where on live stream he ate the world's spiciest gummy bear. And it's just
How
like
did
we
he
had
source the
fun.
world's spiciest gummy bear?
He had it. I don't know. And he set himself up for that. Like no one made him do that. It was just like his side bet. It's like I
That is a
guarantee.
way to build a brand, though,
Yeah,
keep
so
them
like
coming
I don't
back.
know, we have fun. It's like it's under the hood a big mission and like super serious. Like
Yeah.
human AI alignment, like world's most trusted AI rankings. How do we, accelerate the future of AI in line with human needs? But like it doesn't mean it has to be serious all the time. And so like this can also be fun. So I would just encourage you to check that out. A lot of fun stuff's happening, and we're launching our first live trading competition on Monday. So agents have been paper trading. It's like simulated trading. And on Monday, we're going with our first on-chain, real money, real execution on-chain trading competition. So that
And
should be
how long
pretty
will it
neat.
last? How long do they trade for?
So they all go Monday to Friday right now, because we don't want to keep all of our team up all weekend making sure the
Yeah.
when we have a live network, that'll be different. But yeah, so it's Monday to Friday, so like 4 full trading days, which is like long enough that agents can separate themselves in terms of execution and P&L, but
Right.
not too long that it sort of like drags out. We'd rather run more frequent competitions than one long one because
Yeah.
you can get lucky trading, right? Like you could pick a winner today and you win the competition, but can you do it again? Can you do it again? Like it's actually performance over time that builds reputation and rank. So that's sort of how we design the competitions.
That's fantastic. It's good to know that the future's rapidly coming our way, but also that it's not just going to be serious. It's going to be fun too. So you're keeping this interesting, and I guess the users keep it interesting. People are going to make as fun of a world as they want it to be, including spicy gummy bears. So
Yeah, they're wild. Like shout out to our community, seriously. We are nonstop just like laughing in the Discord for sure.
that's fantastic. I love hearing this stuff, and we'll make sure to link all of that in the show notes and everything. But Michael, it's just been such a pleasure having you on the show. This has been great, and I can't wait to see what next comes for Recall. And also after the TGE, I mean, we'd love to have you back on the show, do a part two of this. This is wonderful. It's a great project.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. Let's definitely make that part two happen.
Yeah, let's make the part two happen for sure. I'd love to hear more. And you're coming up to New York, so let's definitely connect when you get here, and we'll make sure you get in front of people for your pitch competitions and whatever else. Even though it doesn't seem like you're hungry for funding, you're going to do great with your TGE, but we need some more people to get involved in that. So it'll be great to help beat the drum for you guys.
Yeah, appreciate that.